New Ireland on the way to autonomy.
We are showing Papua New Guinea that we're working together.
PNGDF shifts into operation mode. And PNGTA continues foul play accusations as root cause of teachers' pay cuts.
This is the National EMTV News with Helen Sayer.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for Friday's news. New Ireland province is on the path to achieving an autonomous government system. This week, Intergovernment Relations Minister Kevin Isifu, Prime Minister Peter O'Neill and New Ireland Governor Sir Julius Chan signed instruments for the decentralisation of powers to New Ireland. Governor Sir Julius Chan says the signing is significant as the province prepares for autonomy.
The signing took place on Tanga Island, about 3 hours boat ride away from the mainland. Hundreds attended to witness this historic occasion, but it was extra special for Governor Chan. This was where his mother gave birth to him.
Tinkoris. So even na po about long apsem long plarot na isla time the sol even karim sejelo ya. So sejay too, you know, sawe olsem only bin karim ya no li katim
Prime Minister Peter O'Neill and senior government ministers of the cabinet attended to witness the handing down of powers to the New Ireland provincial government. The signing indicates New Ireland's dream to be autonomous. Governor Chan, Prime Minister Peter O'Neill and Intergovernment Relations Minister Kevin Isifu signed to ink the path to autonomy.
Already we are showing Papua New Guinea that we're working together. Because only together we can move forward. The possibly divided, there is little we can do. But united, there is little we cannot do. This is the time. This is the moment.
Speaking to the locals, Prime Minister Peter O'Neill says the onus will be on the public service mechanism and people of New Ireland to drive the autonomy agenda forward.
Our choice is very clear. That is that we must continue to work together with the provinces, the districts, and of course the autonomous governments that we are trying to arrange right throughout the country. Empowering of our people is one thing, but resourcing is the other.
New Ireland is the last of the 3 provinces chosen to see the decentralization of powers to the provincial government. Enga and East New Britain have signed theirs last month.
Agenda belong, CJ, agenda belong me, Minister. This government policy, and it long alatawa code, now you may implement him. Or some government you may implement him now. Lo make him so you may remove him all powers pro Wagani, some powers are start pro national government. You may bring him down all provinces so that only can work hard na kirabim country bring him.
The signing was followed by traditional performances and food sharing. Jekyll Power Jr. National EMTV News.
The Papua New Guinea Defence Force stands ready to assist the Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary carry out the APEC Security operations during the Leaders' Week starting on the 15th of this month. They will respond to counter-terrorism threats, public riots and provide escorts for the 21 world leaders and their delegates. Third in command of the PNGDF, Colonel Sialediro, is confident the Task Group Mero, the PNGDF contingent of the APEC Joint Security Task Force team, will deliver a safe and secure APEC.
A parade involving members of the land, sea and air elements was staged to mark the conclusion of various preparations the Papua New Guinea Defence Force has undergone in the last 4 years.
Been the longest preparation of a military task force to support the police and also the government. Training and preparation has not only been confined to Papua New Guinea. It has been involved the Australian Defence Force and also the other civil services within the Australian government, the New Zealand Defence Force, New Zealand government, the Indonesians, the Chinese, the Americans. So it's a whole lot. It involves a lot of partners that are involved in.
These preparations include firepower demonstration, responses to terrorism threats, protection of vital government assets, and how to respond to public unrest. Chief of Force Preparations Colonel Sialediro, during the parade this morning, handed a certificate signifying the start of the operations for APEC Security.
The fighter aircraft and the warships, as well as special operations components that will assist us in providing that high-end capability support for the police and for Joint Security Task Force at the Commissioner for Police's disposal. He is the commander of the Joint Security Task Force. So we have now arraigned ourselves with force concentrated. As you witnessed today, I handed over the Joint Task Force Kibung to its commander, Colonel Wenzel Ezekiel. Our military partners have also begun arraigning their forces here in country.
This task is considered one of the biggest security operations that will not only involve members of the 3 disciplinary forces, but all the law enforcing agencies in Papua New Guinea. This parade marks the transition phase from PNGDF's preparation phase to operation mode. It has taken over 4 years to prepare for this. Tekla Gunga, National EMTV News.
NID operations in Leh will be beefed up to quicken registrations in the province, says National Planning Minister Richard Maru. The office will be given new cars, computers and more mobile staff to improve NID registrations. Mr. Maru said this when visiting the Leh NID office today.
This morning, National Planning Minister Richard Maru and Morobe Governor Ginsen Saono discussed improvements to the NID project in the province. According to Mr. Maru, the rate of NID registrations in Morobe have been low. Morobe Governor Ginsen Saono said logistics for people in rural Morobe has been a challenge affecting registrations, given the large area and population.
Province Plomi, Big Pla, 9 Pla district, Mountain Ikatim, Solwara Ibrukim, planted something East Up Name Long Leh City, na Long District Long all. Now for them, long come Long Leh, Long Kisim ID card, easy plus something.
In August this year, up to 5,000 NID certificates for people in Bulolo district were given to Bulolo MP Sem Basil, and mobile teams were sent to register people in the Wafi project area. Minister Maru commended Mr. Basil and TYCSC MP Kobe Bomerio for supporting the NID projects by signing MOUs with the PNG Civil and Identity Registry.
So me, like you see, opportunity long appeal long over the member long, Morobe, and all other members of parliament. People like him, you block and look him, Nobel, the team law NID office. Na sign him MOU, na take ownership, bring him NID office called 11 district.
Mr. Maru said 4 new vehicles, new computers, and more mobile staff will be recruited to ensure NID registrations for the Morobe province are done quickly.
We don't have beef him up. Obviously, here so that people can go out and increase him enrollments every day.
Lucy Kopana, National EMTV News, Leh.
An agreement was signed today to transfer health services from the National Department of Health to National Capital District Services. Health Minister Sir Pukatemu and NCD Governor Pos Pakop signed the MOU to effect this.
Under the MOU signed today, NCDC will now be responsible for the management of health centers and clinics in Port Moresby. Minister for Health and HIV/AIDS Sir Pukatemu says the agreement will pave way for NCDC to restructure service delivery and administration to improve the health system in the community.
The MOU that myself and the NCD Governor have signed today is to effect the transfer of NCD health services to NCDC. And so the understanding is that the technical teams will now work together to establish an administrative arrangement of health in NCDC, which is a different structure from what we have with National Department of Health.
With Port Moresby the fastest growing city in the country in terms of infrastructure, Sepukatemu says he is confident that the governor will deliver world-class health services to its people. Pakop assured that NCDC through its health authority will deliver high standard of health services in the city.
Best health standards in the world, and also take cue from the Canadian system. They are also one of the best health models in the world in terms of providing quality health services and also having access to that type of services. Balancing between preventive and curative healthcare. Same time providing high specialized treatment. This is what I want to see in Port Moresby. And I am very confident that we can do it. We can absolutely do it. So let me not.
Port Moresby General Hospital will not be managed under the NCDC Health Authority. Instead, it will be upgraded to a Level 7 hospital to be managed by the Department of Health.
Specifically for our trust. Thank you, Minister.
Suli, National EMTV News.
In an effort to eradicate the infectious virus polio, a total of 3,112,035 children have been vaccinated nationwide. This figure, according to Health Secretary Pascal Kase, is 92% of the total target population. The current number of confirmed polio cases in the country stands at 21. One victim is confirmed to be dead, and the rest are confirmed to have reached the paralysis stage.
According to Mr. Kase, most provinces have reached more than 80% coverage rates, while a number of them have gone beyond 100%. From the government's promised commitment of 6 million kina, only 2 million kina has been received. However, Mr. Kase confirmed that in a separate commitment, the government has issued 6.3 million kina to purchase polio vaccines.
Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade in Australia, and then the technical agencies like UNICEF and WHO, who are really behind us, and we have the funding to undertake this exercise. The government funding is also extra that can support us with other logistics and per diem that our people will require. So with the cash flow availability in our treasury, that is something that can be negotiated.
Mr. Kase acknowledged the support from partners, WHO and UNICEF and others who have contributed to the high vaccination coverage within a short time. WHO country representative Dr. Luo Dapeng said in addition to the polio vaccine, vitamin A supplements will be given to only children between 6 to 59 months old during the next round of the nationwide mass vaccination campaign.
In 3 weeks' time, we immunize more than 3 million children. So the work not done yet. We have the campaign come up. We need to keep going. It's critical we sustain the momentum, vaccine every last children. We will not stop until we broke the chain of transmission of polio virus, make the polio free, or make a PNG polio free again. For province, the first dose of polio vaccine is not enough. Bring your children again to last round, and every time polio vaccine is offered to ensure your children fully immunized.
We have so far delivered 10 million of doses of oral polio vaccines, and that's already in the field for 4th rounds as well. Vital work also has been done to improve the cold chain systems in the districts and provinces and health facilities to store the vaccines in correct temperature, and that work is also continuing. We have so far mobilized and deployed 16 international experts in the field, including 9 communication and social mobilization experts.
The second round of the nationwide polio campaign started in Port Moresby on the 29th of October and will end on the 11th of November. The second round for the other provinces will be from the 5th to the 18th of November. The Health Department and its partners are urging that all children under 15 get the second round of vaccination for full protection. Charlene Airy, National EMTV News.
You're watching National EMTV News. TSC suspects fraudulent activities in relation to teachers' salaries and first judging of the Miss Pacific Islands PNG contest. Those stories and more when we come back. Welcome back. The Supreme Court today dismissed an application for review by Jerry Singirok against Madang Governor Peter Yama. This follows an unsuccessful attempt to have the election of Mr. Yama nullified by the Court of Disputed Returns earlier this year. On the 23rd of April 2018, Mr. Singirok submitted an affidavit of an account of events, including the filing of an election petition on the 7th of September last year.
At 1:30 today, the Supreme Court refused Mr. Jerry Singirok's application to dismiss Madang Governor Peter Yama's review application. Mr. Singirok had challenged the election of the Madang Governor Peter Yama during the 2017 National General Election.
Yeah, we're happy with the decision. At least the judges have come clear that it's going to be, the dismiss application has been dismissed.
First respondent Jerry Singirok filed the application to dismiss the application for review under Order 5 of the Supreme Court, ruling it as being incompetent. Mr. Singirok says he is happy with the decision, saying the judges have come clear and they will now go for the main appeal.
That means that we're going to go for the main appeal, the application to dismiss the decision by the National Court. That's the appeal by Peter Yama. Not the appeal, the review. The review by the decision of the National Court in Madang.
The matter is now listed for next direction. Martha Lewis, National EMTV News.
The Department of Commerce, Trade and Industry today launched its first ever corporate plan for the years 2018 to 2022. The plan aims to promote inclusive economic growth. Today's event witnessed by Minister for Commerce and Industry Wera Mori and staff of his departments.
The launch of the department's corporate plan coincides with the APEC CEO Summit and is viewed as an opportunity to showcase the policies and programs commerce and industry is driving towards the government's overall goal of promoting inclusive economic growth and Vision 2050. Minister for Commerce and Industry Wera Mori says the plan is a guide for the department in pursuing its vision and mission.
The corporate plan in itself is an important tool in guiding the department to what it needs to pursue over the next few years. Without clarity in its vision and mission statement, the department would lose its focus in trying to achieve its corporate goals and objectives.
According to Minister Mori, Papua New Guinea has a track record of doing business with multinational corporations on large-scale projects such as the PNG LNG project and other major resource projects, and he is convinced that PNG can further heighten the level of investment in the various sectors of the economy. Department Secretary Andrew Liliura complimented on what the minister said, adding that a significant initiative under the national plan is to drive to increase Papua New Guinea's participation in major resource development projects.
The Corporate Plan 2018 and 2022 is about how we, the department, can make a difference to the lives of ordinary Papua New Guineans and secure a brighter future for the next generation.
The newly launched Corporate Plan 2018 to 2022 will be implemented over the next 5 years. Michelle Stephen, National EMTV News.
The first judging category of the Miss Pacific Islands pageant put on a display of beauty, talents and brains. The skills of public speaking, research and the confidence levels of the 5 MPIP PNG contestants were put to the test yesterday during the stage topic presentation. MPIP committee member representing Toastmasters PNG, Monica Toy Senegila, said the outstanding performance from the ladies proved that Papua New Guinean women are not only beautiful but are some of the most intelligent women in the Pacific.
It was a display of beauty, talent and brains yesterday when the 5 contestants took the stage to present their respective topics. First speaker, Miss International Training Institute, Dika Dawai, presented on leadership of women in politics. Miss Rapopo Plantation Resort, Florence Dapol,
talked on the influence of early childhood learning in PNG. Miss Queen Emma Chocolate Dewey Harry presented on tourism and its impact. Miss Pogera Women in Business Vilin Polopa talked on health and the rise of viruses such as polio and TB. And Miss Medang Resort Leoshina Kariha talked on technology as a tool for empowerment.
Toastmasters PNG has a partnership with the Miss Pacific Islands pageant. So Toastmasters is about public speaking and leadership. So our partnership is to help the girls prepare themselves in public speaking, in presentation and all of that. So today that's what we have done. This is a judging category. The final results for the girls will be announced on the crowning night. So we are so proud as to how the girls performed today.
Ms. Toysen Nagila said although the contestants were given only a week to prepare, their performance was outstanding. The wide range of knowledge they had on their topics proved that they were well researched. They were judged by a panel of 5 judges. The judges' panel was entitled to ask 3 questions of each contestant.
And what we do is to help our women, our girls, to be ambassadors, to own the stage, to be confident, so that they can showcase to the world, to the regional pageant, that we are confident young women that can voice our opinion and let our voices be heard.
It was the first time since the inception of the MPIP in PNG to have students as an audience for the stage topic presentation. For this year, the MPIP selected Jubilee Catholic School to play host to the event in an effort to make it a learning experience for students.
We're very delighted and representing our school administration and the School Board of Governors that the organizing committee has chosen our humble school for this event to take place, which I believe would be a great educational experience for our students.
Results of the stage topic presentation will be revealed tomorrow evening. Charlene Airy, National EMTV News.
And today the 5 contestants visited Hanuabada to experience a cultural setting. Accompanying the contestants was patron of the Miss PNG Pacific Islands pageant, Linda Babao O'Neill.
Looking elegant and confident, the 5 Miss Pacific Islands pageant contestants 2018 were in Hanuabada for a cultural experience. Whilst there, contestants took time to ask questions, among which were questions on how the houses are built on stilts on water. Joining the competitors on the tour of the village was Miss PNG Pacific Islands pageant patron Linda Babao O'Neill. After the meet and greet, the contestants were then driven to the local clinic where the second round of polio vaccination exercise was being administered. There, the team had to look around in the clinic and spoke with local medical staff. MPIP chairperson thanked the local leaders of Hanuabada for welcoming the contestants into the village. The Miss PNG Pacific Islands pageant 2018 winner will be announced and crowned tomorrow, with the ceremony to take place at the Hilton Hotel tomorrow evening. Godwin Eki, National EMTV News.
Here with Friday's news stories making headlines overseas. When we come back, stay tuned. Welcome back to the news. Turning overseas, Donald Trump has revved up his anti-immigration message ahead of next week's midterm elections. As the migrant caravan edges closer to the U.S. border, the president seems to have suggested that the military should shoot at asylum seekers who throw rocks.
The president is continuing a relentless campaign schedule, doing all that he can to ensure that Republicans retain their majority in both the Senate and the House.
Illegal aliens are not subject to the jurisdiction of the United States.
And at the heart of that effort is a single highly divisive issue: immigration. From the White House a short time ago, Donald Trump added a new layer of controversy with a plan for vast holding camps for illegal immigrants.
At this very moment,
large, well-organized caravans of migrants are marching toward our southern border. Some people call it an invasion. It's like an invasion. We're putting up massive cities of tents. The military is helping us incredibly well.
And he warned of disaster if the migrants confronted the US troops that he's deploying to the southern border.
They want to throw rocks at our military fights back. We're going to consider it, and I told them, consider it a rifle. When they throw rocks like they did at the Mexico military and police, I say, consider it a rifle.
Earlier in the day, the president sent out to his 100 million social media followers an anti-immigration attack ad that even some Republicans are calling racist and inflammatory. It features an illegal immigrant who killed 2 police officers. Tonight, questions are following the president, even as he flies off for yet another rally.
Are you allowing troops to fire on unarmed civilians?
Trump's comments tonight have created considerable confusion. Have the rules of engagement for US troops suddenly been changed by the commander-in-chief? And as his critics claim, has he simply created a border crisis for his own political purposes?
Now, when it comes to choosing where to propose, London's busiest train station wouldn't top many people's lists. But after months of planning, one man managed to do it with full orchestral backup.
Think romance and you might not think Waterloo Station, but it's amazing what your own personal orchestra can do. Mixed in amongst the commuters, the happy couple is greeted by a lone violinist. Nothing unusual in a persistent busker, but suddenly reinforcements. Adam Burrows had spent months planning the Flashmob proposal, which girlfriend Melaine Frost at first assumes is a celebration organised for someone else, till the now 30-strong ensemble suddenly breaks into something more personal. Just the Way You Are by Bruno Mars, with real-life cascading strings, which was the song Adam sang to Melaine when they first met. Picking such a busy place to propose suggests a confident boyfriend, but as the crowds gather and the big moment approaches, there's a telltale puff of the cheeks as the pressure begins to show. Thankfully for him, though, Melaine is clearly a woman who doesn't mind public displays of affection. So when he does finally pop the question, with family watching on, there was only ever going to be one answer. But after such an extravagant proposal, several £1,000s, one question remains. How on earth can he top this at the wedding?
Space fans have a chance to own a very special piece of history. The family of the first man to walk on the moon has put some of his prized possessions up for auction.
2, 1, 0, liftoff.
An historic moment in the evolution of life on this planet.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Neil Armstrong's iconic words are etched in our collective memory. Far less known is exactly what he took with him on that voyage to the moon. But now there's a chance to own some of those precious artefacts, as 3,000 objects which Neil Armstrong collected and preserved go up for auction.
Some of the things that he took to the moon and brought back are in this auction.
Like this American flag, flown to the moon on board Apollo 11 and kept by Armstrong as a souvenir. And a stamped envelope signed by the astronauts and carried to the moon on Apollo 11 that was quarantined and then postmarked on its return to Earth. But some are more personal items from Neil Armstrong's childhood, like his Boy Scout's cap, a clue to the adventurer he'd one day become.
One of my favorite items in the auction is this letter that my dad wrote to the Easter Bunny. He must have been 3 or 4 years old when he did it, based on the handwriting. I think it's it's really nice to see.
In 1969, millions watched the most famous journey in the history of mankind. Almost half a century on, it seems our fascination hasn't waned.
President Trump's former chief strategist Scott Bennett has now been interviewed at least 2 times by investigators working with the special counsel Robert Mueller. Recently, last week, they seemed especially interested in communication between Bennett and Republican operative Roger Stone during the 2016 campaign. At the time, Stone was promising the WikiLeaks founder some dirt on Hillary Clinton.
New emails reveal Roger Stone was in touch with a senior Trump campaign official, Steve Bannon, about WikiLeaks during the 2016 presidential race. Special counsel Robert Mueller's team has copies of the emails, a source tells CNN, part of its investigation into whether Stone actually had an inside track with WikiLeaks and whether he shared any of that information with members of the Trump campaign. In an email on October 4, 2016, Bannon, then the Trump campaign CEO, wrote to Stone, "What was that this morning?" Stone published the emails in a column Thursday for the right-wing Daily Caller. Bannon's email came shortly after WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange delivered a speech billed as an October surprise.
I understand that there's enormous expectation in the United States.
But Assange didn't unveil any new information, angering some of Trump's supporters who were hoping for a bombshell on Hillary Clinton. In a reply to Bannon, Stone explained the delay. Fear, serious security concern. However, a load every week going forward. Stone says his email was based on public information. During his media event, Assange promised more WikiLeaks material was coming. Stone's move to publish the emails preempted a New York Times story Thursday about Stone's efforts to pitch himself to Trump campaign officials as a WikiLeaks insider. At least one campaign official told investigators Stone told campaign officials he had ties to Assange, according to a person familiar with the investigation. While Stone made a show, publicly and privately, of bragging about his ties to Assange during the 2016 campaign, he has since revised his story. Stone says he actually relied on publicly available information, tips from journalists, and a back-channel source, progressive New York activist Randy Credico. Credico has denied he acted as a back-channel.
And then, of course, there is the Mueller investigation, poking into every aspect of my private, personal, business, social, family, and political life.
Stone hasn't been contacted by Mueller's team, but nearly a dozen of his associates have. Still, it's unclear what charges, if any, Stone could ultimately face. The New York Times also published emails showing Stone asking Bannon to help him get funding from GOP donor Rebecca Mercer to spread a story based on no evidence that Bill Clinton has a love child. "I've raised $150K for the targeted black digital campaign through a C4, Stone wrote. Tell Rebecca to send us some money. The request could run afoul of federal election laws. Stone says he never received any money from the Mercers, and he maintains he is innocent.
Guilty of no crime in connection with the 2016 election or anything else.
Now, even though Roger Stone has insisted he's done nothing wrong, he has still said he wouldn't be surprised if Mueller brings charges against him. Stone says the charges would just be trumped up and designed to get him to flip on President Trump.
And back home now, the National General Secretary for the PNG Teachers Association, Ugwaluba Moana, told Blaze Media yesterday that the deductions to teachers' salary could be the results of a fraudulent activity. He said the PNGTA office has evidence of teachers who never took up loans, but their pays were deducted from their salaries. PNGTA will also file a formal complaint to be investigated. This came after the Education Minister Nick Kuman told the teachers in Leh that the deductions resulted from the teachers' loans with financial institutions.
Board meeting.
Education Minister Nick Kuman told teachers during the TFF decentralization ceremony in Leh that the department will cease teachers' loan deductions as of January next year.
There are some issues, no, moreover, there are some issues in Medan. And those, you know the reason. I know your reasons too. So what we're going to do as a government is to make sure that we take those responsibilities and give it back to you. You manage your own arrangements, what I call dinner money, companies with infrastructure dinner money. We'll give it to you by beginning of 2019. They will deal directly with you at your bank.
Kuman said the concern of the teachers' pay cuts to their salaries since pay 18 to 21 was because of the termination of the 3% increment and the loans they took from financial institutions.
We got our officers who in the province are there, the desk is there. So teachers who got problem, you go looking more. Because they are the ones who process this and they send it straight to finance through the payroll system. So over the record, hard record, where one deduction form where you sign, when they stop, so you got second way. Because government, from the government point of view, we have not deduct any form of deductions across the board. If it was across the board, the entire more than 56,000 teachers would have been affected.
However, the General Secretary for PNG Teachers Association, Moana Ugwalubu, says the office has evidence of teachers who don't have loans but had pay cuts to their salaries.
I want to refute the straightforwardness of the department and the commission saying that it's about the loans. I want to refute that, and I want to maintain that the teachers' pay cuts be for the loans or be for any other deduction. The union PNG Teachers Association want an investigation by the commission and the department into individual teacher pay cuts to establish whether an individual teacher really got the loans. We have evidence in our office that there are teachers who never took the loans. However, the loan, according to payroll records, show that teacher has got the loan.
Mr. Ugwalubu said the PNGTA office will file a formal complaint for the matter to be investigated. He has also called on the national and provincial officers of the Education and Finance Department to investigate the issue on a case-by-case basis.
The teachers' comments and teachers' concerns and frustration is no nonsense. They're feeling the pain of those pay cuts. And if the pay cuts are unnecessary, please reimburse the teachers. If the teachers didn't get the loan, however, the loan repayment is placed against their payroll salaries, can this be investigated fully? The PNG Teachers Association believe that there could be an automated fraudulent exercise going on over a long period of time. Many people have not realized it until when the state was trying to implement the salary agreement. Then it just exposed the rest of the tricky things that are happening. And we demand that teachers who have been unprecedentedly deducted, the investigations must happen on case-by-case basis, and those teachers who have been disadvantaged must be reimbursed immediately so that their normal professional work can continue in the classrooms. We are glad that the exams are over. We want to see schools and teachers complete the school year and school calendar properly, and that is why we demand that authorities in the provinces, as well as their quotas, as well as the payroll, and those who are controlling payroll must attend to case-by-case investigation, and where unprecedented deductions have taken place, teachers should be reimbursed and normal pay for teachers must happen. And let me also remind the state that 2018 salary fixation agreement, which has not been honored under the implementation of the schedule approved by the National Executive Council, has to be implemented before the end of this year.
Julie Badui Owa, National EMTV News, Leh.
You're at National EMTV News. Chukai Sports is next. Stay tuned for the details.
Chukai Sports.
Welcome to Chukai Sports. PNG LNG Kumul's coach Michael Marum has named his team to take on the England Knights in the second international series match this weekend. He has made a few changes to the starting team, which will see Zev John start in the second row.
Moses Meninga has been moved to prop, making way for Zev John to start in second row. This week saw the inclusion of Kyle Labert, who arrived on Tuesday. Labert will come off the bench in jersey number 14. Labert's inclusion in the team will sure add experience to the side. James Seguiaro was unable to join the team this week due to delayed travel arrangements. Enoch Maki has been moved to the interchange bench, while Ase Boas may miss this weekend's game, being named as 19th man. These are the only changes made for the weekend's encounter, with majority of the lineup still the same. PNG will be searching for a win on Saturday to cap off the Kumul's 2018 international playing calendar on a high. Tickets for the match are still on sale and can be purchased at the different Ticketmasters outlets in the nation's capital. The match between the England Knights and the PNG LNG Kumuls kicks off at 3 p.m. at the Oil Search National Football Stadium. Elijah Levette, National EMTV Sports.
In boxing, NCD Boxing Association will host a tournament this Sunday, which will be used to select a team to this year's National Boxing Championships next month. From the National Championships, PNG Boxing Federation will select a team to represent PNG at next year's Pacific Games in Samoa. NCD Boxing Association is encouraging its athletes to participate in the event this Sunday, which will be held at Ben Moide Club at Marbarracks. There will be more sporting updates after these matches. Don't go away.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. Cricket Australia is now searching for a new chairman after its ongoing crisis claimed another major scalp. And as the scrutiny continues on the game's administration, one of its players was offered a surprise opinion on his banned teammates.
An example in how quickly things can change, from offering an optimistic outlook to a damning review on Monday.
I'm also very confident that we're positioned to move forward from here.
To resigning by Thursday night. Cricket Australia Chairman David Peever succumbing to pressure on administrators to pay a price for allowing a culture of arrogance and bullying to fester. A culture culminating in the ball tampering scandal that shocked Australia.
It's a traumatic time, I guess, for Australian cricket. It's almost fallen apart in the last 6 months. I suppose this is a clean out maybe that had to happen.
Peever's faced heavy criticism here in Australia all week, with many thinking his position is simply untenable, making it even more absurd that he signed a new 3-year contract last week, just days before the report came out. Now the search begins for his replacement by a board under pressure. Interim Chair Earl Eddings saying in a statement they're keenly aware they have to earn back the trust of the cricket community. For a current Test veteran, that means the trio banned over the cheating scandal should serve their time, even as the Players Association pushes for their immediate return.
The punishments were there for a reason. They understood the reasons why they got those punishments. So I think it's, it comes down to, them obviously, serving them out.
In the hopes an end might be in sight to one of Australian cricket's most enduring crises.
Gymnastic phenomenon Simone Biles has struck gold in the World Championships in Doha, becoming the first woman to win 4 all-around the world titles. The American competing internationally for the first time since winning 4 golds at the Rio Olympics. But the path to victory has been far from straightforward.
The all-around final requires a jack of all trades.
All eyes on Simone Biles.
There's no more complete a gymnast than her. But the Olympic vault champion got off to a shaky start. The gasp from the crowd gave hope to her rivals. Even battling kidney stones, she helped the USA to team gold on Tuesday, but the bars have always been her nemesis.
Well, she certainly put that poor vault behind her.
After an 18-month break from the sport, she was back on top. But the unforgiving beam allows no room for error. With all her routines so much harder than everyone else's, little stumbles could be forgiven, but not a major fall.
Very difficult element.
Biles' attempt to become the first woman in history to win 4 all-around world titles was going to the wire. But on the floor, she reigns supreme. Wearing a teal ribbon in her hair in honour of sexual abuse survivors, she took a deep breath. This year, she watched her tormentor, the former USA team doctor, jailed for the abuse of more than 150 women. Try to stop her if you dare.
And Simone Biles does take the gold.
I wish I could have put out a better performance, because that's not the gymnast that I am, what you guys saw. But, you know, we all have mistakes and we all fall. And it's just how you get up and prove yourself.
Not all superheroes wear capes. Some wear gold.
And that ends Chukai Sports. Stay tuned for the weather coming up next.
Chukai Sports. Chukai Sports.
The weather details were proudly brought to you by Dulux, celebrating 50 years in PNG and the only paint made in PNG.
A look at the weather forecast now. In the southern region, fine weather, although cloudy in Port Moresby, Daru, Alotau and Popondetta, and showers and thunderstorms in Caravan. In the Mamasa region, cloudy with some showers in Leh, showers in Wau, fine weather with although cloudy in Medang, thundery showers in Wewak and Vanimore. In the New Guinea Islands region, thundery showers right across the region in Lorengau, Kavieng, Kokoporabao, Kimbe and Buka. And in the Highlands region, showers and fog all across the region in Mount Hagen, Goroka, Kundiawa, Mendi and Wabeg.
The weather details were proudly brought to you by Dulux, celebrating 50 years in PNG and the only paint made in PNG.
And that's been the news, sport and weather for today. On behalf of the news team, pleasant viewing. Have a safe weekend. Good night.